Hi everyone. Oh, that's like super close, and it makes this like a ghost story movie. Um, Hi everyone. My name is Jimmy Saroka. I'm a professional live streamer, and I do social media for a living. If you're brand new to the broadcast, I've been around for a while, but up until now, I've been very confused about me. Very uneducated about society and the way things work, and for the most part, rather ignorant and negligent. And moving forward, it's very exciting to finally have my first shot at life. For anyone out there who is struggling with the idea that it is my first shot at life, then I would recommend sticking around for a while to learn more about me and understand that I am very interested in learning more about you. On the subject and pretense of anything that you may have seen or heard, it is past tense, it has been dealt with and faced, and anything further, just moving it into the public, me not talking about it, has a lot more to do with leaving the past in the past than it does with not facing it. Understand that how do I say this? I have and I am facing it. And it's very hard, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what had gone on. Just understand that I was in complete emotional denial of what had been going on. So, and I will be setting that standard for a while in the beginning of each live stream for anybody that's brand new. So, and I have been. So, just to help people out as they're coming in and we're having a first introduction, because more than likely you've heard of me. It's not for good reasons. So, Tori, welcome on. Nikki, Edgar, Unknown, Fab Food, and 3 others. Kayla E. Bell, Abby Hutchinson, Shy Little Gamer, Rick, Elizabeth, and 1 other. Music Festival posting, Michelle, Mrs. Ali Pate, Macy Dell. Hi, live streamer. Welcome on, Rick. How are you? Borderline, Mars, Baca, welcome on. Amelia, Cole Tippett, Elise M. Kelly. Yes, we do, says Rick. Thanks. Simplistic, Anthony, welcome on, says Rick. Savannah, welcome on. We appreciate you and support you, says Anthony. Thank you. I appreciate that. Also, please understand my story is super important, and there's a whole lot to be learned from it. Thank God, because ironically, it's like my bargaining chip. Not even kidding. Is my story and what I've been through is really the only reason why I believe I'm going to be granted freedom to move on with my life, and I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to be able to move on at all. Because in the beginning, all I ever wanted to do was serve society and really be able to do something and offer something to the world. I just didn't realize how much that took or how much it cost, and especially for the way that I wanted to do it my way and make it about my life, because my story is one that needs to be heard, because it can also speak to, not for, a lot of people who've been through similar situations. But also what's important is as I get forward, we do not take our focus off of Caitlin. Like I said, my show's about me, my life's about me, but please understand that Caitlin is still here and she's doing her thing, and that Caitlin will, decide what she wants to do with her life, but realize that her story and what she's been through is different than mine, not less. And even though, like I said, we were kind of like instigators of our own kind with one another, it was mostly because we were both negligent of what we had been through earlier on, and really just trying to run away from it because it was really hard to process and deal with. Here's what I will say, is being out of Pennsylvania this time, it is the first time in my life that I've ever left PA, and I didn't. Pennsylvania is in the United States, for anybody that's new, and I don't feel this overwhelming urge to go back. I feel like where we're at, I'm home, and wherever we go to next, or however things go, that I will be home and I will be at peace. And I think really what it was just meeting my biological family and sorting through that in order for me to be able to move forward internally. It was really, really hard, but it was so worth it. And I mean, things did not go well, but understand that, especially if you're dealing with people from foster care, people that look at me and they say, well, we don't want you to be the poster child for foster care. Well, here's what I'll tell you first off, is if you haven't been through foster care, then one thing you don't know is that there is not a single one of us that is spot-free. Because it's a rough run in the beginning, and when you don't have that, it becomes very, very difficult to sort things out on your own. And most of us are kind of just left to the wayside and considered degenerates within society and never really given a shot. So, and even I wasn't really given that shot. I was given a choice to conform and live the way that I was told to live, or I am not permitted to live. And I have made it through this far, and I pray to God that I make it the rest of the way. There are foster children who become adults and find their way into assimilating into regular life, but there's not a whole lot of us out there within mainstream society that really make legitimate success beyond appropriate regular stuff. And regular stuff is good too. You know, it's all good stuff. And I finally learned that, and I'm sorry for ever crapping on anybody. I just, I had been raised in this genuine belief that there was a certain way to live that made me better than other people, and it wasn't accurate or true. So I'm sorry about that, and for anyone whose feelings I hurt with that. So, for me is finally just seeing, and it's so cool to, because I always wanted to be accepted in society, and I also always wanted to be a part of society. And I know that my actions until now probably didn't really speak well to that, and maybe it made you think that it was that I didn't, like I really wanted to stand out so bad. I was just crying for help. I think even in the times where I had been suicidal, I think it had a lot more to do with wanting someone to know that I existed than actually wanting to end my life. And I didn't even know that. So now that I do, and I see where I was, I apologize to anyone who had been hurt in the process. But the joy in my heart that I feel, with that ability moving forward, and the confidence in myself, if there's anyone out there who can share in that story, definitely have confidence moving forward. And it's going to be it is and will be very, very difficult for most people, if you have not been through foster care or experienced that, to recognize me as anything more than a potential social victim. I am not only claiming victimization. I am a victim of the system. That's a fact. But now I'm an adult, and I am taking my adult life and making a choice to turn around and say thank you, and also say it was done poorly. And then make an effort to create reform and find a way to shift the narrative to a place where people like myself do have a better chance of getting ahead. Because we deserve that. And getting to the point that I'm at right now was a hell of a lot harder than it should have been. And because it took me this long, there's a lot of people who want to say, well, you don't deserve it. When the fact is, most people of my stature never make it at all. They don't. We don't. A lot of us don't even make it to the age of 25. And people don't know that. People don't know the stats. And I've known the stats for a long time, but I just running away from my past. So now here in the present, like I said, just having this chance to live is amazing. Getting a breath of fresh air is amazing. Caitlin is amazing. And the focus is finally off of Kate for the most part. And I want anyone out there I want to let you know that where things started, it was pretty much the haters just trying to put the attention on Kate so that I would drown. God's honest truth. Anyone out there right now, I'm not being a narcissist about it. It's genuinely how it was. You can ask Kate. But now things have shifted. It began with them trying to, blow her up and make her feel real, real good. And then they had shifted and tried to get her to take advantage of me and take me down with them. And it almost happened. It almost worked. But at the end of the day, when we had left that unhealthy situation, I sold my phones. Just so that we could make it out together. And I was trying to prove to her, like, hey, I really am on your side. I know that I have not been great, but you also, it would try and sabotage me. And so we worked through that. We worked through it, and we're good. And now finally things are shifting. But I was willing to give my life to prove my innocence because it's true. It really is true. But I had to fight a big fight just because I thought I had to fight. The only thing I really had to do was put down arms and just show it. Put the smile on my face and live it. I knew that at one point. I just didn't want to give credit where credit was due, for the way that I had been raised, for the crimes that had been committed, things like that. Labor laws, I mean, a lot of different stuff, now that Caitlin and I are doing our research. But we have no interest in taking people down, because that's not the way I do things. If that's how it ends up being done, if there's certain people out there who want to hurt me and have a trigger finger, then, like I said, it's just self-defense, to bring that to light. But for me, for the most part, I would love to just be able to move on with my life, and not make my life become a smorgasbord for other people. And then whenever I do make it through, and Caitlin and I, we make it through together, that we're like blown up to something more than we are. We're regular people, and I'm well aware that we're regular people. So, that's what it is. But I would love to be able to make a difference and be treated like a normal person. Because I'm not saying I'm famous. I am saying people treat me like I'm worse than I am. And even as the tides shift and things get better, I don't want people to start treating me like I'm better than I am. Because my DMs are full of a lot of that. Of two polar opposite, bipolar. Either on one side, people are treating me like I'm the devil, other people are treating me like God, and both are creepy. I want to say thank you to the 3 conversations I've had in the DM so far, of regular human beings treating me like a regular human being. Because I, for the most part, make an effort to treat everyone like they're normal, because we all are normal. We're not all average, right? Everybody's different, and we all got our own personalities. But, I think everyone does have a right to life, clearly. And at the same time, I think it's important we treat each other equally. And equality means coming in without assumptions. And I'm doing my best to do that with you as well. No matter how the message comes off. But just understand, and I'll convey this to you, is I want to be treated normal. I do not want to be treated with any sort of whatever, like blowing me up. I'll give compliments to myself. I don't need anybody else to give me compliments. That's not narcissism, it's just confidence. I don't want the compliments. I don't want the insults. I just want to know who you are. Because that has always mattered to me, and it still does. Justin, welcome on. Aged in Wood, welcome on. We Shame You, welcome on. And that was a very big reason why people doubted me in the beginning, back in 2017, was because they doubted my intentions, and they got very scared about me. But the mistake I won't be making this time around is giving a whole lot of heed to the haters. I'll be focusing on the people who give me a shot. Oh, that's freaking adorable. I'm totally on board with that. Thanks. Kate made a really cute tweet. Kate, make sure you tag yourself, unless you don't. Whatever you want to do. Kate posted a tweet. Kate just posted a tweet, so you know it was her. Blister Milk, welcome on. Welsh Chick and one other. We Shamey says hi. Murdy, welcome on. Where do you stream mostly, says Anthony. So one spot. If you guys go across social media, I'm pretty much just sitting right here, live streaming. Rick says hi, Mr. Streamer. Crispy, welcome on. Cole Tippett says, rumor is you're down in Florida. Okay. Yeah, I've officially learned to just begin to conceal. That is one behavior that I have seen from everyone in my environment, and it felt deceptive to me. It is deception. Concealment is deception on some level. For me, the only reason I'm concealing at this point, and I mean the only reason, right? Oftentimes we have a lot of reasons why we do things. For me to make a decision such as concealment, it is 100% on the premise of self-protection. It is to make sure that Caitlin and I are safe. So understand that deception is not within my personality. It is not something I prefer to do. But when I am forced into hiding due to lies and other deceptions, people trying to quite literally commit crimes against humanity and destroy my life, or mass manipulate people to literally come and kill me, then I'm going to do what I have to do to protect myself. And that's a healthy, and that means just concealing, my environment. For now, it's not a cowardice thing, because here's the thing. There's a lot of people that'll call me a coward, and they'll sit behind the screen. But I'm the guy who, for the past 3 years, has shared his exact location no matter what it cost. I've been out in the open, vulnerable, sharing everything I could with you guys. giving everything I could to build these relationships as people continually made efforts to take advantage of me and also destroy my life just for fun because they thought I was weak. I'm very strong. It's just, unfortunately now, I will have to create this barrier of separation between a lot of us due to the unfortunate behavior of some very specific individuals, at least for now. And once Kate and I are in a more financially safe position, and we're in a place in life where I can share my life with you in real time without the risk of death, that's not a healthy decision. So we're going to make healthy, protective decisions about our environment, and I hope that anyone out there who live streams like we do begins to take after that example, because I'm now realizing me living that way, I might sit here and say how tough I was, but for people who cannot handle that, and even clearly I couldn't handle it like amazingly, right? It sets a bad example. So to anyone that I set a bad example for, I'm sorry. For anyone that tried to mimic my behavior, I'm not responsible for that, but like I said, now moving forward, I really, I'm so glad to be here. It's nice to know that I was right about me, and it's nice to know that I really do want this as bad as I thought I did. There was just a lot of moralistic, religious, just a lot of different stuff that was holding me back. A lot of family stuff that was holding me back, making me think and feel bad about being on social media, and it began to affect my behavior. It began to change my personality, and I was being so untrue to myself. And now that I'm just embracing this as a whole and being myself and like just flowing with you guys and girls and everyone else, and I without that guilt or fear of judgment, it's just a lot easier to let things flow and get to know people. So when someone craps on me, I realize, okay, they misunderstand me, or something I had done in the past hurt them, or they're insecure, or like I said, or maybe I said something that bothered them even recently, right? And then on the opposite side, people who are just exonerating me and just trying to raise me on high and say I'm so special are also inaccurate. But I pushed off one and I wanted to embrace the other, thinking it would create fulfillment in my heart, and it didn't. So I'm at peace, and it's really, really cool to finally be here with all of you, and not, like I said, just not have to not anymore. Just like who I am, and be here with you. It's really cool. So thanks for being here with me. Cherry Red, welcome on. Mueller Lucas, welcome on. Good morning. How's California? Goes Crispy. How's the Holiday Inn, Jim? Says person. Where can we hear your story? Says Anthony. Right here. Just follow along. I got the gift of gab. I let it out one day at a time. Class, welcome on. Imaja Kane, welcome on. All about me. Yes, Queen Emily. This is my show. This is my life. It being about me is my point. If you're doing a show and you're on your profile, just the same is your show is about you. That's kind of the whole idea of running a vlog or sharing your life. Porridge, welcome on. I'm glad you're feeling better, says Anthony. Thank you. Peyton Noise, welcome on. Crispy says plane tickets are very cheap now. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. For sure. Caitlin, we were on. Caitlin and I, we were on an extremely expensive flight that literally cost nothing, and I mean like nothing. And the plane was just, I had never been on a plane like that before. We did get photos. Those photos, right? Yeah, did we get photos on that plane? Yeah. We'll be putting up photos of the plane that we were on. It was just, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but you got to realize for like hometown country bumpkins, it was kind of a big deal. It was very cool. Caitlin, welcome on. Let me see. I'm good. Okay. Jamie, welcome on. Aurelian, welcome on. Muggsy, welcome on. Class says, I think you should do a super honest Q&A. I've done plenty. I'll be doing it for the rest of my life, more than likely. The next time I do a Q&A, more than likely it's going to be something very planned, and we're going to try to just reach out to people and, have questions ready. If anyone does want a Q&A, that's going to include just questions hitting the inbox. I am no longer seeking to make my life just a show for people in a way where I'm sharing information freely. That is just loose goose and unplanned. Um, Let me put it this way. I actually don't want to share my deep personal life anymore. I don't think I ever really did. I think I just had a problem with boundaries and oversharing. So, if there are specific things that anyone wants to know, then you'll have to shoot me a DM, and I'll take a look at it. And if I feel it's appropriate, then maybe if we get enough, that I'll put it on a list and make a video. But as far as a live Q&A, more than likely not. You got to understand that there are very sadistic and manipulative people out there who will gather as a group and seek and make an effort to control my broadcast. They've been doing it for years, and they being an operative phrase just for these small cliques on the internet who find themselves to be popular and important. And I don't find that appropriate. It's really just high school drama brought to adulthood, where they want to pick on the kid that was weird in high school. So for me, it's just I'm growing out of high school. I'm recognizing those boundaries. And, when someone shoots a spitball in my hair, I turn it around, I take it out of my hair, and I throw it right back at them. I tell them, screw off. I move on with my day. I keep studying. And if they do it again, raise my hand and tell the teacher, hey, I'm busy here. I'm trying to do my work. And if it continues to persist, then I don't do anything about it. If the teacher won't do anything, so what? I'll get over it. Put my head down, do my work, and when I get an A and they don't get a job, that's how life works. It's those who put their heads down, and work, that makes it. That's just how it is. And I always was that person. But I think when I was in high school, I tried so hard to pretend that I wasn't, because I was embarrassed that I was smart. Because I was raised in a family of people who were, bless you, who are of a different kind of intelligence. And they were educated and whatnot, but I just always had this view of entrepreneurship that it had to be done without a traditional education. So I had looked down on it because it was just a path that I wanted to pursue, and I also mimicked that behavior of I'm better, So I messed up high school. That's essentially what I'm saying. Because I could have done a lot better, and I should have, but I didn't. And that's okay. Michelle says, you're a complete grown-up now. Why are you still focused on foster care? Michelle, let me ask you, what about children that are still in foster care? Who's advocating for them? No one. Because they get messed up until adulthood, and when they hit adulthood, they're told, why are you still focusing on foster care? Okay? The cycle needs to end. And that cycle of abuse will continue unless someone decides to turn around and take a look at their past. And it's very, very hard to do, especially when you're raised in foster care. And a lot of people in the system who make a lot of money on people like me plan on people like me never speaking up. So, I'm not going to speak up against people, but I will make slow, methodical, consented efforts towards proper reform without fighting, without ripping up roots, or making a ruckus, because it is the only way that this piece of it will work. Because it's a piece of society that is very touchy. There's a lot of money to be made in foster care. It's a much bigger industry than anybody realizes. It is essentially legalized human trafficking. And people have no idea. I lived it. It's going to take a lot of work. But I finally have a cause. I know my tribe. I know my place. I just didn't want to admit what a misfit I was. I didn't want to admit that I was that much of an outcast. And I always tried so hard to fit in with people that I just won't fit in with. But the beauty of the 21st century is that as long as I accept others, and I do, and I love you guys, and I'm sorry for the way that I've been, is that I will be accepted. And I don't have to fight anymore. I just have to chill out. And I've chilled out a lot. You will get through this, as Anthony. Thank you. And so a lot of other people. It's going to be a very interesting journey, and I'm super excited for what things are going to look like. I have to figure out a plan of action on how I'm going to live my life. What kind of content are we going to put out? I'm there's so much. Now that I finally have, it's like an arrow, and I finally have a direction I'm pointed. And I've been telling everybody, hey guys, look at me. I'm this arrow, and I'm pulled back. Look at all this tension. Look at how much power I have, how much I can do. And everyone's sitting there like, well, you clearly can't. You're not doing anything. I think I was really just waiting to decide on a direction. This is the only direction that's ever really existed for me if I want to make a difference in society. It has to apply to who I am. And I've been trying to pick up on everyone else's cause because I was embarrassed about my own. So I have a direction. But I really just figured it out like a week ago. So, give me some time. I'm gonna need a minute. I literally just got over 25 years of insane past. I'm still working through it, and now trying to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do. So, I'm gonna ask for more patience. People always say, they're like, oh my gosh, Jimmy, like, you're not allowed to have that much time. Like, you've already had too much time. You failed. I'm like, Foster! Like, I'll throw it out there. I will. I'll use that chip. I'll use that card because it's fair. And for anyone who's been through it, it's fair. So yeah, I'm gonna play the Foster card, and I'm gonna say, look, I haven't had a fair chance. But you know what? Life is now fair because I'm over it, and I want to turn around and help. And that's, I think, the hardest. I'm getting a lot of flack for it. People are like, dude, you got over your past. Why would you now turn around and look at it? Like, do you want to be a victim again? No, I'm not anymore. That's why I can look at it. But it's going to be really hard to do two things. Get people like me who've been through it, who want to look back and hash it out and, try and make a difference. And two, trying to get people who haven't been through it and who are completely disinterested and apathetic towards people like me and people like us to want to do something about it. That is a big reason why not much has been done within the system of foster care, is because, we're just the outcasts. And, but we are the outcasts in America, the land of misfits. We are an immigrant country, and people in foster care are essentially natural-born immigrants. Like, we are literally born and then immediately displaced into a refugee-type situation where we're not even with our own family. And it's just very hard, I think, for a lot of Americans to apprehend that. Well, no, you're a citizen, so that's how it is. You're okay. Just get over it and move on. Emotions are a thing, and psychology plays a role. It's the perfect timing to face this issue. It's the perfect timing in American history to finally face this issue. And I know that I'm not like a poster child for anything, but it would really be amazing to have the opportunity, to be granted the opportunity by you guys to be a part of the spearhead of that. Because I've been through so much, and I've learned so much. And it would be really cool to finally have a purpose for all my pain. It would be nice to finally do something with what I've been through, and also with what I've tried to accomplish, and have just failed over and over. I think I needed a purpose. And I'd like this to be my purpose. But I'm also mature enough and humble enough to recognize that would have to be with your permission. And I bet that's pretty hard after how things have gone. But, like I said, I'm going to do my best, and for those of you who say no, hopefully over time you'll change your mind and, let me do it. So, like I said, I'm going to do it as best as I can. If I get rejected, I'll get rejected. But going through foster care, let me tell you, and also having been on the internet and still only being at 2,500 subscribers, right? Because some people are saying that. They're like, bro, you've gone nowhere. But do I give up? I get up every time. And I will always. So, we're the most resilient part of the human species, are the displaced. Yeah. Amelia said, for someone who wants to leave the past behind so badly, you sure do talk about your foster care days a lot. Yes! Yes, because now that I feel complete in my own life, it's like I'm free to talk about it. So it might appear as though nothing's changed, but it's like literally everything's changed. The game's over. Here's what I mean. I'm free. On a psycho-emotional level, I am free. Which ironically also frees me to have a conversation about it. I'm not embarrassed about my past anymore because I understand a lot of what went on and how I got to that point. Whereas before I didn't. And so I really thought I was just this monster, and I'm really not. So, Josh, welcome on. Emma Lowney, welcome on. One second. Sorry, my phone is like super hot. No idea what you're talking about, says class. That's okay. A lot of people are not going to have a clue what I'm talking about. That's why it's going to have to be my job to educate on this subject. And hopefully, in return, you can educate me on whatever subject you're familiar with. Nikki says, if you know you have issues, what? I never said anything about having issues. I ain't got no issues. That's the point. Nikki, that is the whole point. I was buying the idea that I had issues, and it began to be real, simply because I did not fit the bill of the people who were trying to help me, and so they assumed I had mental illness. No! I think differently, because I was born into foster care, separated from that nature, separated from that nurture. I'm not unnatural. I think differently. I'm different. I'm just different. But I'm a kind of different that's still not really seen in society. It's shoved under the rug, because it's a really tough issue. Yesterday I learned that foster care began in the 1500s, when the wealthy displaced poor children from their families and placed them with families with money as indentured servants. Which is exactly my story. A story I am nervous to talk about. But I'm going to find a very eloquent way to share it and come out about it in time. In time. It is a piece of my past that I have literally denied the existence of for a very long time, because I wanted to make whatever excuse I could for the people that I love. But I had Stockholm Syndrome. Very, very, very heavy Stockholm Syndrome. I made it out. And I'm free. And, yeah. So, it's good. Michelle says, we're not your therapist. No, you're not. But if you're talking to me that way, then you may need one. Guys, the level of insensitivity in society, especially for those who are displaced, is a big reason why our country is falling behind. If we're going to get ahead, it does begin with treating one another better. Alright? Here's the thing. Liberalism and leftism are one thing. But to truly value a human life, think of it, if you don't like it from a socialistic perspective, if you don't like it from a emotional standpoint or a welfare standpoint or a standpoint of emotional support, right? If it's like too much for you. If you're a capitalist, think about it like a capitalist then. How about the fact that when people like me are downtrodden and treated poorly, we are some of the most resilient people you will ever meet. And the most value you're getting out of our life is us being incarcerated or serving someone else's family. We're the most resilient. Seriously, anyone I've ever met, the strongest people I've ever met are displaced from their own family. Because it takes a lot to survive and fight to survive when you don't have your own family, watching your back. Value us, because there's a lot that can be done. And it's very disappointing to see our country getting less out of the help that we could be offering. We're undervalued. And undereducated as well. Extremely undereducated. And all it's doing is detrimenting society. It's not helping things much. That's from a right-wing perspective. Alright? It's a winner-winner from left or right. Sorry, but that's just how it is. either way, we're being treated in a way that's not productive to society. So, you're on the right path, says Anthony. Thank you. Bobster, welcome on. Generic White Female, welcome on. Patricia, welcome on. Charlie Page, welcome on. Colorful Soul, welcome on. Yogi, welcome on. Isabella, welcome on. Gucci, welcome on. What's your next plan? Anthony, we're figuring that out right now. It takes time. Caitlin and I are still working out our relationship, still trying to figure out where things stand, how we want to do things. We're also making an effort to take relaxation time. Like today, for example, we're not doing a whole lot of work, which is good. Really just starting to balance life and realizing that a little, like I said, we just gotta chill out a bit. Not too much, but just enough. Especially if things are really going to work. So, Sherry, welcome on. Hannah, welcome on. NGMJ, welcome on. It's KRS, welcome on. Coco McGee's, welcome on. Where are we living, she says. We are living in America. Where are you living? Okay, Caitlin waved. Thank you, Caitlin. Keep on moving forward, says Anthony. Absolutely. Billy, welcome on. Crispy says, can you tell me where you get your facts from? Fact books. Where you get your facts? I got my facts from truth, from fact. I look at information, and I can tell whether or not it's telling the truth, especially if it has to do with me. I'm an intelligent guy, and I also know how to tell when I'm seeing BS or I'm seeing something legitimate. That's where my facts come from. Where are you guys living now? In America. Alright. Joe Charles, welcome on. Naomi, welcome on. Josie Kiddo, welcome on. A different phone. A cheap phone. That we purchased. Oh boy. We support you, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. Sienna, welcome on. Cherry, welcome on. Shaylee, welcome on. Mrs. Allie Pete says, make it make sense. I'm working on it. What I'm saying is true. I just have to figure out a way to translate it for people who have no experience in these realms whatsoever. You know, I have to figure out how to translate it to a public in a way that they understand, that you understand, and that you want to hear from me. You know, and both of those things I'm going to have to work on over time. NGMJ says you could have a testimony to help other people that have been through what you've been through. Yes, I could, and I'm working on that. And Caitlin's helping out. Regular human being here, Simone Baby Sherry. Good. Hello, Sherry. Sherry, message me anytime. Always looking for people to talk to. I keep only even about a dozen conversations at this point, but it's very nice to have some people to talk to. I know Caitlin appreciates it as well. You know, we're rebuilding our social environment, which is really, really good. Real life is a lot better, but I'll tell you what, talking to people over the internet's a good start. Amelia, just so that we're all on the same page, that Reddit does not belong to me. I was catching wind that people were talking about something with Reddit with me. My Reddit was Jim_Saroka, I believe. Or like Jim Saroka, but I saw the photo on it, and it's not even me. And if you click that profile and go to Twitter, where I think it goes to Twitter, it's like some gaming programmer or something like that. That's not even me. So, just that we're on the same page about that. Alright, I'm clearly not going in circles. I apologize if I'm saying it in a way that you can't perceive yet. I will continue to work on that and try to get better with the way that I communicate it on a basic level. I'll keep working on that. What's going on? This is unknown. Just very excited. Very, very excited. Live for things. Says, why do you want to know people so bad? Because people need to be known. Like, if you don't know what it's like to be unknown, you can't relate. I'm a guy who's completely unknown. Oh yeah, I think we can all agree with that. On any level, right? And so I know what it feels like to live in a world that is completely wrong about me and misunderstands me on almost every level. Almost every level. And anything that they think they understand, it's based around a perception that they've been given from their baseline environment. And that's a piece that I never really saw because I'm so different, and I haven't really met a whole lot of people from my, realm of life for foster care and whatnot. And so it just didn't register. And I just figured, okay, well, if I try hard enough, then I'll fit in. I'm literally not made that way. So, it's not going to happen. It'll never happen. And that's completely okay. But it doesn't mean it has to be that way for other people who are like me, right? Maybe there's a way that there could be some translative factor. Maybe there's a way that we can help create a system of education that doesn't leave people completely, how do I say it, just ignorant of this form of reality, because, no joke, it is something very similar to just equal rights, whether it is within LGBTQ, whether it is women's rights, whether it is, rights within the African American community. It's literally less than 100 years ago that we weren't allowed in the same bathrooms, all right? Different color skin. And here as I sit, I am an absolute minority on a level that people do not get. And, I'm being treated like not even human. And I don't think people wrap their head around that. I seriously don't. But what I do realize is they want to look at a certain behavior and say that whether it was a crime or there was something bad or negligent, that all of a sudden now I'm worthless or I'm less, right? Oh, well, look, this is how he behaved. Well, let me tell you, coming from small town Pennsylvania, this is exactly how I was raised to treat African Americans and Latinos. I was raised, I'm not like this, but I was raised and taught to treat African Americans and Latinos as though they are subhuman because they are criminals and they're going to steal my TV. That's what I was taught growing up. Okay? I've learned better, clearly. But now I'm being treated like one. And it's not just because of that, of what happened between Kate and I. I was treated that way long before that. Long before it. Alright? You're not going to understand me by the color of my skin. You're not going to recognize my tribe by the color of my skin. You're not going to recognize my tribe by my haircut or by my lifestyle. Whether I'm making $1 or I'm living in a motel. You're not going to understand me by my relationship. You're not going to understand me by my religion. That is foster care. That is being displaced from your family indefinitely. It changes a person. Or they're born different. Maybe that's why I was abused in infancy. I don't know. Maybe my family knew that something was different about me on some psychological level, and I was rejected on an evolutionary level. I don't know. I'll grasp at anything, but the only thing I'm left with are questions. And it seems like everyone else wants to offer me an answer, except one that fits my life. And that's just not fair. That's called inequality. So I'm going to keep digging into this and see what I find. Because I'm the man for the job. And regardless of anyone else's permission, I'm going to do it. And if someone else has to pick up the baton because someone decides to snuff me out and call it, like, a societal good, then I guess that's how it's going to have to be. But you're wrong about me. And I guess time's just going to have to tell how long it's going to take for the fosterers to get equal rights. It's our turn. It all starts here with us. If you've been through foster care, if you've been displaced from your family, whether you are a legitimate American refugee or you were just born into foster care, if you're someone who's displaced from your family, on some level you know how I feel. I would love to hear from you. Whether you were in the foster system or not, I'd be more than happy to educate you on my side of things, and I'd be very grateful for you to be the one to educate me on your side of things, because I am not a refugee of, of a foreign descent. I am not someone displaced due to any, outstanding circumstance. But that displacement with me happened regardless. And so it creates a relational factor. And I'd be very grateful for anyone who would be willing to educate me in the ways that I do not have an education. I do not know about, people who are legitimate refugees. I don't know that stuff. I don't get it. Right? But I don't judge. I'm just letting you know I'm uneducated. But people want to say that because I'm willing to say I'm uneducated, that makes me stupid. No. I'm saying teach me. That's what a coachable person does. That's somebody who cares. And why am I willing to do it on live stream? It is the quickest way to get what I'm looking for. Answers. I want answers. I want to understand what's going on. I don't want to be uneducated. I'm sitting here wondering. I am very smart. So I'm sitting here wondering, how was I left so ignorant? Like, how was I left so gullible and just a victim to the world? How did I end up getting taken advantage to a level where I entered psychosis? Explain that to me. Because somebody is going to answer me on it. And it's not that I was born with a mental illness or that there's something wrong with me. That is called suppressing me. That's just called social slavery. Maybe some people have legitimate mental illnesses. I get that. That's real. I don't. And I didn't. But placebo led me down that road. I'm not buying it anymore. I'm clearly better. How do you explain that? Nobody expected this, for me to be able to sit here and have this conversation. And when this camera shuts off, things are about as normal as they could be. And you ask Kate on that one. You got your proof. It's like not possible, right? Well, it happened. And now everybody's going to be looking for an explanation. And you're not going to get it from me, because I don't know how it happened. And it's not me being insane. So, and maybe it's going to take people seeing me in real life to get to that conclusion and realize, holy crap, he's actually healthy in the snap of a finger. Not possible. Story's going to take a long time to tell. But as things come out, hopefully it's going to educate the public and help see that being displaced from your family, it can destroy a human being. And with a lot of misunderstood perspectives, trying to force someone into a traditional lifestyle if they're not made for it can make it worse. I escaped. I didn't escape, criminal whatever. I escaped captivity. And when they couldn't keep me in a physical captivity, I was put in a mental captivity. And I escaped. That's a problem for some people. If you're in your family and it's normal for you, that's normal for you. That's where a big disconnect is. People look at me and they say, so literally, kid or adult, right? What you're trying to tell me is that you being in a stable family that you were raised in, because you had normal problems in that family, that you're a victim and that you're abused. Yes. Yes. There are differences in personality. There's differences in culture, both hereditarily and within social constructs that I was raised in, that due to a lack of education, an extreme level of neglect, and indentured servitude, where I worked for free within semi-childhood, that's crime. And on top of it, it led to a very large psychological detriment of my own that I then have to pay for, and those who, settled for that negligence are left unscathed. It's just a whole bunch of ignorant people trying to defend themselves and call me mentally ill in order to protect their own agendas and protect their families. As if I was the detriment or am the detriment. No. No, the pride and negligence. That's the detriment to society. And I'm not here to take it down or to topple an establishment or, be extremist about it. I'm just here to say how things are and how they were. Because you don't know. I was there. It's my life. And now that I'm educated on these different facets of life, I'm not in denial of it anymore. But I wanted to deny it for a very long time so that I thought that's how I would get forward. It clearly didn't work. You saw how I was. That behavior you saw from me was because I was making excuses for all the wrong people, instead of realizing that there were reasons to trust different people in my life. Okay? There have been people in my life that I've been blaming for a whole lot more than they did. That's called projection, right? Yeah, I was projecting. Because where I began my life was a hell of a lot worse than I thought it was. And I was willing to believe other people about it. Caitlin has been wonderful to me. Now, she has her own stuff. We all do. Right? And a couple of other people who have been trying to help me out, trying to tell me how to do things, trying to help me out. I criminalized them in my mind because I was exonerating my aggressors. I just didn't want to admit I was abused from a lot earlier on. Because here's the thing. Kayla and I were looking up the law and whatnot, right? Capital punishment is considered physical punishment. What about psycho-emotional punishment? What about ignorant neglect? What about being ignored when I didn't exist in a way that behooved those who raised me?
Did you know that 62% of circumstances where children are removed from homes are because of neglect in 2018?
Caitlin says that in 2018, over what percentage?
Circumstances associated with child removal.
Why don't you come over here and tell them?
62%.
Come here. What do you mind?
No.
Thank you. You tell them. You know, however you want to do it. Okay. Unless you want me to. Do you want me to read it?
I read it. Okay.
Do you look at me? What do you want? It's okay. It's okay either way.
I want to read it.
You want to read it? Okay.
According to the AFCARS, which is Adoption and Foster Care Analysis Reporting System report of 2018, 62% there's circumstances associated with child's removal from the home. 62% of those cases were from neglect. 62%. That's over half.
So let me say it to you this way. I'm going to make it real simple. The way I was raised was, you're lucky because there's a roof over your head and food in your belly. Anything else you want is too much. Stop asking for it. You are entitled, prideful, and spoiled. Literally. While they got paid for it. Okay? That's not defamation. All right? I'm telling my truth. It's what I went through. And I know it. And that's not and I could hear my family's words echoing in my ear. How could you talk about us that way? You're crapping on our name, blah blah blah. Well, honestly, get over it. You probably should have treated me better then. Right? The only reason I have a story to begin with is because of how I was treated. It should have been done better. Everything from my biological family, all the way to the state and the county, all the way to my foster... It does! I was right! And you know what? The reason I'm not afraid to speak up about it is because I see a whole lot of people in society finally speaking up about their issues. There's reform, there's change, and I can be an advocate for that. I don't need permission. And why the hell am I asking for people's permission to tell my story? You know? If I'm loud enough, people will hear me. I've learned that. I have learned that. And whether you're going to call me a crying child or not, I have been neglected and ignored my entire life. The buck stops here. Because I'm no product. And before you want to toss me aside, realize that every one of us in life is a product of society. And if you don't like what you see, maybe you should take a look at my background and recognize that there's a problem with more than just me. You don't know what I come from, but you're going to find out. So, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Please send me a direct message. Let me know who you are, what you're all about, what you've been through. Because I care, because I know what it's like to be completely ignored. And it's really nice to camaraderise with people who share my pain. Because pain points are a really great place to be able to relate. You know, it's a good place to get to know people. It's in a place of emotional vulnerability. That's logical. That's simple logic. And it has been years since I've smiled so much that my face hurts. You know, I'm not angry. I'm not afraid. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm in love with life and in love with you guys. And I'm very, very excited for where things are going to go move forward. Moving forward. And yeah, there may be some people that end up on a chopping block because of it. But guess what? I didn't put them there. They put themselves there. And I am done taking responsibility for full-grown adults who neglected a child. It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to create reform where I can. And yeah, I will get paid to do it. That's called paying a debt to society and being rewarded for being willing to speak up about my issues. Getting paid to delve into my own past and the pain that I've been through. You know, and for whatever that costs other people. If they've wronged me, that is not on me. And I am done being guilted into slavery of others. Because it's sick, it's depraved, and quite literally, it's a crime. So thanks for moving forward with me, realizing that it's not about revenge or getting back. There's just a whole lot of things that do need to be worked through, and when you hear me saying these things, it is because on some level, it's like I feel like I should feel guilty for telling my own story. That should tell you how brainwashed I was, how brainwashed I've been, how brainwashed I am, into believing I should feel guilty for standing up for myself, for being a human being, for breathing. And I was treated that way far before any of this. And hopefully that helps some of you understand what's going on. Because far before what happened between Kate and I have been treated as though me breathing was a problem. Because I was viewed as a weak for being born into foster care. I'm a hell of a lot stronger than most people, and it bothers them. Because they were told that because they're born into their natural family, because they have this privilege, they have these finances, blah, 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 that they're better than me. See someone like me getting ahead while they fall behind, it sickens them. And they say it's literally my fault. That's insane. So, moving forward with positivity. And here's another big reason it's going to help people understand. Because, you know, a lot of times people say, why do you know people so bad? This is another big reason why I want to know people. Is the more that I get to know other people, the less it becomes about just me. And the more positive I am. It's a lot easier for me to focus on positivity when I am talking to other people. Jaime, welcome on. Like, when it's about more than just me, life gets a lot easier. So, let me know who you are. Let's have a conversation. I will let you know that my phone is officially, like, frozen in this mode, and it's super, super hot. So, I'm going to shut down, and I will be hopping right over to DMs and talking with all of you. So, like I said, I'm very excited to hear from you. It's going to be a very interesting time here in my life and in Kate's life. Talk soon. And thank you.